Hi friends! Welcome back to Backyard Schoolhouse. Today we're going to be talking about the history lesson plans that we are making to go with the lessons you can learn from the Bible weekly studies. This is a freebie that's available on our website, and we are going to teach you all about how we put it together to make it weekly lessons. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, if you haven't heard yet, you gotta go to our website and get your freebie for our history lesson plans. As I stated before, this goes with the lessons you can learn from the Bible book that is being studied during the midweek meetings. If you look ahead on the midweek meeting outlines, it's about 2 lessons a week is pretty much consistently what it's looking like. So let me talk a little bit about this free download. So, in order to turn the study of this book into a complete history curriculum, we are turning it into a 4-day-a-week lesson plan. So, this freebie that you have here goes by week. Let me see if I can get it a little closer for you. So, it goes by week. So, this is week 2 that we're looking at here. You've got the date of the meeting outline that this applies to, and then right across here you've got 4 days of the week, so you can pick what days you want to do these on. Then down here you've got lessons you can learn from the Bible, so this will tell you which lesson. You've got artwork discussion, it has the page numbers. You've got Bible passages, so this is the Bible passages that go with the lessons. The memory verse and copy work, every single lesson from here, if you've noticed, has a specific verse that is in bold. So every single lesson has one verse that is bold. That's what ends up going here each week in the memory verse section. So you end up with 2 scriptures there that apply to the 2 lessons that are assigned for the week. So then you have, this is where the meat of things comes in. You've got the history, geography, biography, and all the extra things that are added to make this into a 4-day full-scale history curriculum. So you've got all kinds of stuff that we add down here. If you've had a chance to look over it, you see that we add it's all resources that come from jw.org. It's always linked in the download, so that you can click on it. If not, it tells you what it is. This is an activity. This is the illustrated little booklet. There's also videos, as you can see down here. So if for some reason you can't click the link, you should be able to easily find the material yourself. But each day, as you go down from day 1 down the list, it'll tell you what to do each day if you want to do all the things. Another thing to consider is that not all of these things are going to be relevant for all grade levels. So you're going to have to cherry pick through this smorgasbord of activities here to see what is going to be appropriate for your child at their level. So we've got everything on here from the Caleb and Sophia videos with the cut and paste worksheets that go with them, all the way up to entire Watchtower articles and other articles from older brochures that are where the language and the writing is definitely more advanced. So there's, like I said, you got to cherry pick through these activities and see which ones work for your students. And then the other thing that you might notice here is we've got this week's lessons you will learn from the Bible. This comes straight from the book itself. In the back of the book, it's the very last page actually, you've got all the lessons that this Bible teaches, and it tells you the lesson numbers that go with the lessons. So this one right here, false worship comes from the devil, lessons 19, 20, 22, 38, 46, 49, 52, 58. So these are all of the lessons. These are the lesson numbers. So With this section, all we're doing is each week we're going through that list and picking out the lessons where the current lesson you're studying, the lesson number you're studying goes with. We're just putting them in there as bullet points. If you want to write these up big on your classroom board, if you have some sort of bulletin board like that where you can print them out really big on a piece of paper and just kind of have them up so they're in view. If you've got a chalkboard you want to write them on and display that like that, you can. So that's what that's for. If you just want to make this part of your regular discussions, then that's an option too. Everybody can pick how they want to apply these things. This is just to give you ideas to set up your week. And then down here you've got connect and compare, research and reflect. And you've got a bullet pointed list of all these ideas of things that you can do, talk about, research, write about, discuss, draw, all kinds of activities, and compare and connect, research and reflect ideas that go with the 2 lessons for the week. So now that I've kind of broken down how these worksheets are laid out, let me get into explaining to you how we organize this in our homeschool. So the first thing that I have been doing each week is taking this freebie and I am opening up my homeschool lesson planner. Let me see. And I open up to a fresh week is essentially what I do. But when I'm planning, I'm going to go through. So in our homeschool, we have been doing this twice a week instead of 4 days a week. 4 days a week with this printable. This is good for record keeping. It shows essentially everything that you did study or could have studied. You can take notes on this, circle, highlight, whatever the things you actually did. So this is really good for record keeping. But for me, because I am cherry picking for certain grade levels, I have a 4th grader and a 10th grader. I'm going through and selecting the material that I want to do, and then I'm putting it in order of how we're going to do things during those 2 days that we do history. So if you don't mind looking at my mess of a journal, this this is what it kind of looks like. You can see here. I don't even know if you can actually see this. Right here starts history, right there. So we do history Tuesday and Wednesday, and our history class session is about an hour and a half both days. So we definitely get a lot of content in. We do get 4 days worth of content in those 2 days doing the longer sessions like that. With the other curriculums and stuff that we're doing, it just works out better for us that way. So I will go on here, and actually let me pull out last week's so I can kind of show you. This is a fresh copy of the download, but after I did all of my planning, let me show you what that ended up looking like. So that ended up looking like this. Once I did all my planning, that beautiful fresh sheet ended up looking like this. So let me explain to you what I did here. You can kind of see in here where I numbered the items. You can kind of see my little scribbles on here. So I went through and I ordered. I ordered the items by number. I wanted to do this first. I wanted to do that 7th. So this was last on the list. So I knew I wanted to do that last. I knew this was first. Also the song. Every day we actually do the song first. Like before we get into anything, we do the song. We turn the little song video on. The kids use their Bible books, their flip books. If you haven't gotten yours yet, those are also freebies on our website. So once I put everything in number order and kind of figure out how I want to accomplish these 2 days within 1 day, then I will open up my lesson planner and write all the things in the order so that we can go down the list of how I want to do things. So, for example, let me tell you about how day 1 in week 2 worked. So we started with the Books of the Bible song. Then we got into an activity. Jehovah makes humans in his image. That had a worksheet from the website that went with it. Then we actually did lesson 2. We read it, had an artwork discussion, and we read the scriptures. Then we watched a video, lesson 22 plus a worksheet. So this was a Caleb and Sophia video with a worksheet. That is what my 4th grader did. My high schooler did something different. Then we wrapped up our day by doing the timelines and map. So we added the things that we learned about. We added Adam's creation and Adam's, I think later in the week, we also added Adam's death to the timeline. So our timeline is just an Amazon purchase. If you type in history timeline notebook on Amazon, there are a ton of them that come up. So you could just select one that you like, that you want to use with your family, if you want to include the timeline in your course. Now that I've kind of explained that, I hope it makes a little bit of sense. I do want to show you how we are organizing all of this so that it makes sense and we can keep track of everything that we're doing. So let's get into that next. So you can see here I've got these 2 little binders. These are A5 size binders that I have on stock. They are binders that actually go with another product that I sell. So I had these on hand, I had inventory. So I grabbed 2 and the kids are using these. I also had these straps. You can see these just hook into the binder. I had these separate. I had a big pack of them. So we put the strap on to their binders in these slits that were already pre-made. So that way the book fits right on top of their binder just like that. And so they can take this whole thing to meeting with all of their study notes and everything they've been doing, and they are fully prepared with all of their thoughts and notes to participate at the meeting. Which is why I decided to go with an A5 binder, because this is a lot more travel, it's a lot easier to travel with than having like a full-size binder. But if you're not taking it to meeting with you, a full-size binder would be perfectly fine and probably a little easier, because let me show you the inside of this. So this binder belongs to my youngest. So this is my 4th grader's binder. This only has the first 2 weeks of stuff in it, so you're not going to see a whole lot. But this is the printed Books of the Bible flip book. If you haven't seen it yet, this is what it looks like. So it's got the books of the Bible in order. On the front, it says Genesis. On the back, it says the book that tells how paradise was lost. And then on the next one, Exodus. God saved his people by his mighty hand. So it's a little flip book. You flip the top and then the bottom. The front shows the name of the Bible. The back shows what the Bible book was about. The wording goes along exactly with the memory songs that are on jw.org. So the boys flip through these books every day that we do history. When we do that song, we call it the Bob song because it's books of the Bible, so Bob. We do the Bob song first thing, both days that we do history, and they flip through their flip book as we're doing the song. We normally do the song 2 to 3 times a morning because we are trying to memorize. And by the way, we're only doing song 1. There's 3 of them, but we are only doing song 1. We're not moving on until we get that one down. Another option that I just made, printed and laminated for them, is this chart here. Let me see if I can get you a better view. This is also a Books of the Bible chart that I just made and printed, and then I hole punched and laminated to go right on the front. It has the exact same things that the flip book has. It's just in a chart form, which the tactile flip book works better for my 4th grader. The chart works better for my high schooler. So they both use whatever helps them remember better. So, and then this chart is printed front and back. It has all the books of the Bible and their descriptions from the songs on jw.org. So what we're doing is I'm printing these worksheets out, and then we're just hole punching with the 6-ring A5 binder hole punch, and we're keeping them in the binder like this so it can fold out. We're just kind of folding them in half, putting them in there. This went with week 1 material when it talked about creation. So the boys, we put this in their binders. That was something that they looked over independently after the fact. This is a worksheet that we did. Also, you can tell it's done by a 4th grader. So this is my 4th grader's binder. That's how that's organized. Everything is just kind of going, aside from this, which stays on top, everything is just going on top as we go forward. If we end up having a problem with this becoming too full, then we can just take out whatever we want to keep, put it in his record keeping binder, which is completely separate student binder where I keep all their student records. And then this will be emptied for more lessons. And that just buttons up like that. And that is how we are keeping all of our Bible history stuff. So this one looks relatively the same, but this is my high schoolers. The only difference you'll see is that there are some different items in here. So this is an article that my high schooler read. It went with one of the lessons. I had him read it and then tell us about it. What was it presenting? Read the scriptures. What was the key points? How does this go with what we're learning? This is another one that was a part of the lesson plan. If you recall, there's a section on here that says Paradise Lost. I don't know if you could see that right there. Paradise Lost. It is a study from a brochure. The brochure that is entitled The Bible. So I just printed it out on a piece of paper, which was actually, I love this brochure because if you notice, there is timeline across the bottom of the pages of that brochure. I do have the actual printed brochure, but I just wanted to print the one page that had the article that he was supposed to read so that he didn't have to have the whole brochure in this small binder. And then this is one of the illustrated books. I just printed it 2 pages per sheet like that, so it folds like a book. And he's just keeping those in this back flap here. So each kid is kind of organizing it, whatever makes sense for them. And then this was something that we did together as a family. So as you can see, so we're covering the same topics. We're covering the same book together. This book is being read together. But then the material that is being cherry-picked out from this lesson plan to go with it is based on student level, student academic ability. And that is how we are working everything out for these Bible history lesson plans. Now, that kind of felt like a lot. And it is a little time consuming when I go through this plan and I sit here and I read everything and I cherry-pick stuff out. And I pick some things for my oldest, some things for my youngest, and then I number it, put it into my lesson plan. It is a little bit time consuming. So I am super excited to tell you guys about this new plan that we are going to be coming out with. So we are going to continue with the freebie, and as we continue through the school year, we will continue to post updated lesson plans for the weeks as the weeks go. But there is an exciting new thing that we want to tell you guys about. This is what it looks like. So we are going to be we basically are turning this into some super easy to read day-by-day lesson plans for your students. Let me explain to you a little bit how this is organized. So you've got your history lesson plans header. It's similar in the sense that, so this is for week 3. Here's a weekly overview. You're getting the date, the lessons, and the memory verse and copy work that go with it. So then you're getting this week's lessons you'll learn. Those are listed here. So if you want to, like I said, if you want to put those up on a chalkboard or whiteboard or print them on a piece of paper and just have them up for view, you can do that. this is where we get into the meat of it. Here you've got day 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what we do is we make you a literal checklist. These are the things that you're going to do each day from start to finish. You will go straight down the list. The cool thing about this is that you will notice, so first thing, you'll do the song. Let me see if you can see that. So day 1 through 4, okay? First thing you're going to do is read the song. Then you'll see here on this day 1, I'm hoping your view is not too blurry. Read lesson 4, okay? Then it says artwork discussion, okay? Then here you have grade level assignment or assignments. So that's where the fun comes in. Then we have the second page that goes with this first page, the overview page. And you've got grade level assignments listed by day. So you've got the days across the top, and by grade band. You have elementary, middle grades, and high school. So depending on what grade band your student is in, it lists which assignments for your students to do when the weekly lesson plan calls for a grade level assignment. And this is laid out for you entirely. Not only does it list what they're supposed to do with a numbered list, usually only 1 or 2 items. Sometimes it's do both, sometimes it's pick either or, depending on what's available and the resources that are picked out for that week. But this is it gets even better. Then we're talking about grade level assignment directions. So depending on what is actually assigned up above right here, based on your day and grade level, down here you've got directions on how to complete the assignment that is given, and it goes by day. So you'll see here you've got day 1, elementary, assignment 1, this is how you complete it. If you're doing the middle school, here's your directions for completing that assignment. High school, and it goes by, like I said, by day. So here's day 2, then there's also a day 3 and a day 4. In between that is all of the worksheets printed and organized in order by grade level. Sometimes the material that is provided is lacking in students' ability, I would say. I don't know a better word for that, but here's what I mean by that. So for example, for the high school level, what's recommended is this section, anger is dangerous, and it's literally one small paragraph from a watchtower that's selected out. So in order to make something of this resource, we have added a read and reflect worksheet section to make this a full assignment for a high school level student. So what I'm super excited to tell you guys about is that this is going to be a new downloadable PDF that we're going to start making available on a week-to-week basis with, like I said, all of the resources in the file ready to go. All you have to do is press print based on your student's grade level. Pick out the pages. You don't have to put this, you don't have to sort through this and cherry pick it yourself and put the things in order in your planner. This does that for you, and all you have to do is go down the list, and then based on the grade level assignments, you do the assignment that is appropriate for your student. Like I said, on the day-to-day plans, it has specifically in there grade level assignment. So when you get to this checkbox, that's what you will be doing. You will be giving each student a different assignment. And every time, whether your student is working separately or you guys are working together as a group, every time there is a separate assignment, it is instructed for the students to come back and tell the rest of the group or the parent or whoever about what they did, if you guys are doing a group style family learning. If not, then that's not necessary, but it is instructed in there to do that. So it does help you to stick with doing this together as a family if that's what you're trying to do. If not, you can totally have your students go and do this stuff independently And then they can follow this list very easily, check off the boxes as they go, and you can just print the worksheets from the PDF download that are relevant to their grade level. So this is super exciting. This is something that we are going to be making available. It is going to be a purchasable week by week download. So the freebie won't be going anywhere. It will still be available to our families. That is this guy right here. But if you are looking for something that is more detailed, helps take away that planning time, everything's pre-organized for you, this new PDF download that we are going to be releasing on a week-to-week basis is going to be exactly what you're looking for. And it is definitely going to be budget friendly. So we're super excited to announce that. We can't wait to be releasing it. So keep an eye on our social medias and on our website. When that gets released, when it goes live, we will be letting all of you know. And that wraps everything up for today, friends. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time. Bye!